Hey, I think we're live. Let's find out. There we go. Just getting my stuff set up here. This is James Maduke speaking. You're watching, what is this? Well, it's an Ask Me Anything from trainingsites.io and teachonline.io. I'm 2 minutes behind because I just put my contacts in and I was having trouble with one. So my apologies for being a couple minutes late. If you haven't been on these before, these are ad hoc, unscripted sessions where I just kind of rant about training sites, teaching online, excuse me. And in this case, something a little bit different. I'm going to show you why or when you may not need a website for your training site, or if you're going to be teaching online. And more importantly, when you're building community sites. So I'm going to go over that today. If you do have any questions, make sure to ask them in the chat or put stuff in the comments below. And of course, always subscribe if you want to get notified when these videos come out. Excuse me. And then also make sure to go to teachonline.io and sign up and register for the site there and all of the great content that we have. If you're interested in building training sites, membership sites, community sites, all of that great stuff on WordPress, and basically owning your community and not just putting it onto Facebook or one of the other third-party properties. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to do my best to go through kind of a checklist, and I'm just going to open things up here. I just want to make sure that we're actually recording everything. It looks like we are, so that part's good. And I'll do my best to answer any questions that come up. And if they don't come up, that's fine too. I'm okay with that. I have fun doing this. There's a number of tools that I'm having fun playing with and getting a little bit better at, and always open to suggestions as well. So one of the tools we use for these live broadcasts is called Ecamm Live. They just came up with a new version yesterday, I think, or on Monday. I haven't had a chance to play with it. So you're going to see the basics here with Ecamm Live as I start to learn how to use that a little bit better. And the thing that's interesting when you do these live workshops or training sessions, there's all sorts of things that you could do that are really fancy, but at the end of the day, at least for me, I often not end up doing them. It's talking into the camera and just kind of sharing what's going on. This is a little bit different than a teaching site with a specific outcome. Really, I'm just sharing information and things that are happening here at our business and my business, just to let you know that these are some of the options available, things to consider. I don't want to come across as if this is the only way to do things. This is just that we've done, I've had some fun with, and you might as well. So that's what's going on today. And I'm just going to go and see if we actually have a little bit of work with this. And let's see if we can open up some of the screens here. One of the things, for me, that's been interesting is working with with a Mac, because I hadn't done that before, and still getting a little bit clicky with it from time to time. So that's what we'll end up doing. So what I'm going to show you, let's go to My Pickleball Friends, the My Pickleball Project. And I'll give you a little background on this one because it is something that puts it in context. When I'm building training sites, we're building membership sites, community sites, campuses, where the purpose of the site is to educate people. In many cases, the whole gist of this is we've got to get them on the website. We've got to get them on the website so that they can be part of the community, and more importantly, take the courses or get engaged on the community in the course material to be able to learn what it is we're trying to teach them. And that could be in a cohort or blended learning, where we have a start and a finish date to a course, much like a school where you have semesters, or you're going to do a full course, for example, over the month of. You may have a start date and a finish date. And that course may include on-demand learning that's in the form of LearnDash or Lifter courses that you've put in your campus, but it also may mean having groups for that course in either live Zoom sessions or live coaching or webcasts with it. So that's normally what we end up building. But in some cases where the purpose of your campus or your membership site, or in this case, your community, is not necessarily the course outcome, but it is the community portion that you want to focus on. Doesn't mean you don't have courses. It doesn't mean you're not trying to educate people. It's just the focus is on the community aspect. And whenever you're building a community first kind of site, the thing that's important, at least in my opinion here, is getting enough members to be involved in the community. A community of 1 is not very robust. A community of 2 can be boring. A community of 10 is okay if people have some time with it. But the more people in your community, the more interaction, the more user-generated content, the more engagement, the more publicity about it, it just can take on a growth of its own. So that community aspect is a little bit different than the course aspect when you're building out a training site or a learning campus. So why am I bringing this up? In many cases, when you're starting off, you want to make sure that you get people in your site registered for a course. But on a community site, that's not necessarily the case. And in fact, that's the issue that we have here on my Pickleball Friends. This is a side hustle, side project that I'm involved in because I like pickleball. I have family members who swear by pickleball. And there was an opportunity, I thought, to build a community in the pickleball community that didn't necessarily exist. So I wanted to see if I could build a community around it. And there's some really cool things happening in pickleball that we can get into, but I want to share, I'm going to share actually some of the research that I did beforehand. And the reason I'm going to do that is because of how I'm going to show you why the website isn't that important anymore. Well, not anymore. It's just not important in this particular case. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that there are things that are happening in this space that can be really, really, really important. So what are we doing here? Let's see if I can get a, there we go. Let's do a headshot. There's my Pickleball Friends. We're there. I am going to I'm going to have to go, I'm going to spend a second here on my Ecamm Live program and see if I can make sure that, I'm going to make sure that the mic's working. Yeah, I think we're okay there. So got this My Pickleball Project. Where are the stats on it? What's the scoop on that? Well, I did a couple things beforehand to find out who I was going to be serving. And this is vitally important, of course, if you're building a membership site, is you'd got to have a really good idea of who it is that is going to be in your community, but more importantly, how are they going to be consuming your content? And that's the big thing that I learned doing all of the research is that, and I'll show you some stats in a minute, but what I found was that the majority of people that I was trying to communicate with here, when I was trying to communicate them and the engagement and user-generated content that I was looking for from them, they weren't going to be at your desktop. They weren't going to be on a notebook. They weren't going to be in a coffee shop. They won't be at home necessarily watching videos. I'm not saying they won't entirely, but the majority of the time, they were going to be with their phone in front of them. And the majority of time, they were going to be actually playing pickleball and being involved in pickleball in the pickleball community when they were going to be taking the videos, when they were going to be taking the pictures, when they were going to be networking with other people and meeting other people. They were going to be at their club, wherever it is they play, they were going to be there with their phones. So I have a complete site built out. I'll just log in to show you how it works. And then I'm going to share with you, I'm not sure how to do this screen capture for this on the mobile devices, but I will show it to you a little bit later in another session as I figure out how to do that properly. But in this particular case, I've got a full WordPress site. I have the Buddy Boss theme, the Buddy Boss app. I have LearnDash, the same set of tools that I normally use for campuses. However, I built the entire site out with the intention that most of the people that are going to be interacting with it are going to be on a mobile app. And that's kind of cool when you think about it, because we're in a position now where I can do stuff on the desktop myself and be engaged on the desktop, but whatever I do is automatically going to be in the mobile app that we've built out with my pickleball friends, and it is now approved on the Play Store and the App Store so people can go download it. So the goal for me now is to have people create content on their mobile device, which is going to be published to the app on their device and to the website at the same time. So I'm going to get a whole bunch of unique benefits from there. One of the things is that we're focusing a lot on SEO, user-generated content, all about pickleball. We want as much content as we can public on and I just got some points here. Did you notice that? A little button showed up on the right-hand side. There it is. I earned a volley. Gamification. We've got that set up as well, which is kind of neat. So these are things that regular stuff, but I don't necessarily need someone to come to the website for that to happen. And just to give you an idea, if I go now to the Play Store, there we go, and we'll view on Google. So now on the Play Store, for example, there is my Pickleball Friends. The app is available for download. It's been available since yesterday, I think. So how did this get here, and what is on it? Where does it come from? This is the same on the Play Store. It should be there now as I'm speaking. If not, it'll be there shortly. They are both approved. So I'm excited about that, but we've now got an app here on the device. So I don't know if I can do this. Let me just see if I can open one up. I'm just on an Android device right now where I installed it. I got a couple devices, but not all of them. Not all of them are Android, and I've got Android devices and iPhone devices. But I'm going to open one up, and I'm going to try and find out how to actually use Ecamm Live to take what's on the screen here and actually have it, for example, where the screen share is there. But I've got my app here. Kind of hard to see. Do I want to turn it that way? Just trying to see if I can get it. It's there, but anything that's happening on my desktop is happening in the app live and in real time. So if I'm on the app right now and I just go and I want you to watch the screen here, if we go back to my Pickleball Friends, you can see I earned the volley just a second ago. I just logged in on the mobile app, and I'm going to go and post something. So there's a spelling error, but I'm going to post it. But I'm on my mobile app. I just made a post, and what's going to happen is that you're going to see that it's going to show up here on the screen in a second. So if I'm on my phone, I'm at the court, I'm playing. What I do is I take a shot, I video lessons, I take a selfie, a picture, all of these things where I'm involved with someone else or in the community. What's going to happen is that is absolutely going to show up here on the site. So that's kind of a neat thing to think about, is having it live and in sync. And there we go, 36 seconds ago. There's looking forward to download the app. I'm going to like that. So we're back and forth, and I'm actually interacting with someone, me, that's on the mobile device. So the question becomes, why did I do that? And let's take a look at it. Let me just see. I had a screen open here. I don't know if it's open in a different window. I had a ChatGPT screen open up. Let me do it this way as well, just to give you some research. One of the things that we did, that I did beforehand, is I was looking at some of the keywords and products and services of things that were going on. And this is actually, this is our app from teamwork.com. This is our project management tool. And they have a part of the tool called Spaces, which is where we collect and organize all of the information or resources that we use on a regular basis. And a couple of things that we did here that I kind of organized was and I spent a lot of time on this, is picking up on the pickleball avatars. Who is it we're going to be serving? And I was at a club. It was Monday, actually 2 days ago. I was at a club, and I was there, and I'm chronologically challenged, so I'm over 50, just to give you an idea. But actually 60, sharing the truth here. But I was actually at a club that was full, 14 full courts, pickleball courts. I was the youngest person there. Yep, that's right. Monday morning, it was before noon, all packed, absolutely packed. I was the youngest person there. So I identified at that club with the more mature players. On the other hand, there's another whole group of people which are growing quickly, which are kind of the 35-year-old person who's not super competitive, but is trying to get out and be active again. So there's that group. And the one group I want to talk about was the 68-year-old. And this is, kind of thing where it's someone who's retired, someone who may have kids or grandkids. They're having fun. They just want to get out. Psychographic details, brand loyalty, digital engagement. Uses Facebook primarily to stay in touch with family and friends. Still on email, searches for web information. They prefer face-to-face instruction, group classes when they can. The thing that was interesting to me is trying to find out where and when these two profiles that we had were actually consuming the content. And what I found was the statistics tell me, the research that we did, that the majority of time, 60% plus, are going to be on their mobile device when they're actually doing pickleball stuff or being involved in the pickleball community. And that includes doing things like reading their email, visiting Facebook, chatting with other players or friends that they have, trying to find courts, all of the stuff that is involved there. So having said that, what I needed to do is go, hey, we absolutely have to have a mobile app. And that's what we did with my pickleball friends. And it was based on the research that we did. Some of the things also we picked up on hashtags. This is all research we did at the start. Pickleball keywords and questions, all of the stuff that comes up. This is, again, all research that we did, but we wanted to make sure that we had it available on the mobile device. And how did we do that? Well, here's the shtick here. I'll go and let's do this one here. I'm going to do I think we'll do the main screen. I think we get the main screen. Yeah, pickleball keywords. Here we go. So I'm sitting there and I got my keywords. I got pickleball. I'm kind of excited stuff. How did I get this WordPress site to be an app? And there's a couple things that we did. The first one was, let me just open this one up here. I'll just open up. What we did is we set up or purchased Buddy Boss. And I think they have it as an app. I think there we go. So what happens is Buddy Boss and LearnDash, the campuses we build, they also have an additional plugin, which is for a mobile app. And all we did is I was actually one of the beta testers when this first came out. So I have a bunch of mobile apps that we have for customers, but I had one for myself that I hadn't used yet. So what I did is I used one of our licenses for the mobile app. And this app, again, is just something you can purchase through Buddy Boss. You can use the link below that I've included if you want access to that and give us a little bit of commission, of course, when you sign up. But you can either build this yourself, and I'll go through some of the steps that we did, or have us build it with you and get it set up the way that you want. And I'm going to go through some of the steps that we actually took to do that. I don't know if I'll do it today. Maybe today we'll do it in another session. But those ones, having that app, that is the key to this, having the mobile app. And again, it's tied directly to Buddy Boss. So make mobile apps for your course or community. And that's the one that we're focusing on. And you can see if you go through this, if you take the time, we've got the exact same material that's on the website is directly right within your app. So Buddy Boss uses WordPress. all tied together, which is, I can't get over this enough. This is really, really, really important, that everything that happens on the website is in fact happening on the mobile app. So if someone is out on a mobile app, if someone is out playing around, if someone is spending time taking videos, and for example, if I wanted to go and take a picture of someone that was playing pickleball, I can go and post that. Now, why don't I just show you this actually? I'll spend a second here because that's one of the things that I did when I was out playing. Let's do that one. There we go. So there's a local club that I was at yesterday. Okay. There's me with my coach. Paul Eck, had a good time out playing pickleball, had some videos. These are all things that were uploaded directly from the club. And again, this was just done on the phone and automatically updated to the website. So I need to get people to the website to start generating the content or creating that user-generated content that we need to get things growing, because in this case, the purpose of the community is to get user-generated content. It's not to sell courses. I'm not interested in selling courses. I'm going to monetize. We covered this in some other sessions. I'm going to monetize the community in other ways other than to sell a course. Doesn't mean I won't sell a course at some point. It just means that that's not the focus out front. The focus is on building the community. The people consuming the content are mobile. So I got to be mobile and focus on that. Okay, so all I did is we went in and we installed the plugin for the mobile app. And you can see there's a menu here called mobile app. And this is all of the stuff that we use to set it up and get it built and published so that it does stay or show up here on my Pickleball Friends, for example, in the Play Store. So how did we get there? How did we get to the Play Store from the WordPress site? And there's a whole bunch of steps that are involved. I'll go through them quickly just so that you kind of see how much is involved. I'm not saying that it's hard. It's just that you have to follow a process and go through the process. And there's some really key things that that I have found make a big difference. The first one being is that you understand why you're actually building the app and how you're going to market it after. It's one thing to have an app for the purpose of saying, yeah, I got a mobile app, but if it doesn't fit into the business model and what you're trying to do or accomplish with the actual site, then that's not really worth having, is it? You don't want to spend a whole bunch of time, getting a mobile app, but not have anyone download it and not have anyone use it or not have anyone engage with you or the site on it. So make sure that you understand why you want a mobile app first. And I think I've kind of shown you or talked about at least why we did. That's where the people are. That's where they're consuming. That's where they're generating content for the community. And I'm just going to mention this now because the other thing that's kind of that I'm learning as we go along with this is a lot of the videos that we're adding to the blog posts and even the courses that we create here. And again, these are free courses. It's just organized videos, but they are on lessons, tips, and strategies on how to do something. So if someone is actually there with their mobile phone and they're going and say, how do I do a backspin, or how do I do a slice on my serve, or how do I do a around the post, or what does around the post mean, or what's a banger, or they can start searching. They can search on their device when they're there at the club playing. And that's something that's kind of interesting because the videos we've been putting up, we've been finding that actually people are consuming the videos not at home in front of their desktop, but actually out when they're playing live in real time. So they are learning. It's just not the focus was there, but in fact, that's actually what's happening. They're taking or consuming all of the content, whether it be training content or user-generated community content, they're taking it in the same place. Okay, so first thing, just make sure that you understand why you're actually creating the mobile app. The second thing is thinking about the back end of it is, excuse me, if I do have a mobile app and I know why I want it, how am I going to get it into the hands of people? So my suggestion is make sure that, yeah, I understand, but secondly, have a plan in place on how you are going to get people to download the app and be involved in the app And again, I've talked about this before. If you don't have traffic specifically to your site and your app, you're not going to get people to download. So you have to have a strategy and be able to implement it to have get your app in front of other people's lists or other people's contacts. So that's the second thing. Make sure that you've got that in place, that you thought about it, that you're going, how am I going to get in front of other people's traffic? How am I going to make it easy for people to download the app? How am I going to get people to register for the app and get involved? The third thing to think about, again, in my opinion, is that it's outreach to get people in, knowing why you create it. The third thing is how have I got someone registered? How do I need or how can I engage people so that they start creating content and being involved? So there's that outreach and onboarding are the two pieces. Figure out the outreach first and then look at the onboarding and how you're actually going to do that. In our case, as an example, if I go take a look at all of the pieces that we have here on my Pickleball Friends, again, desktop, mobile, same thing. You can see that I've got an actual news feed of activities that are happening live in real time on the site. I've got my friends, which are all of the members that are a member of the site that are just starting to sign up. So people can go and do a search through them, whether they're a player, a coach, a vendor, that kind of thing. We've got groups that we've got set up so that we've got a bunch of different groups and people can set them up. We have events, which are where people can put tournaments or, whether they're doing particular tournaments all over the world in that case. And we got Edmonton, New Brunswick. We've got out in BC. These are just two dummy ones that I put in. But we've got events. I've also got the business directory, the link directory, which we just added yesterday. And that particular one is where a club or an association is going to go and put information about their club, maps, all the information for getting involved there. So we got links, and I do have some courses, and we do have blogs. We actually have a podcast, but there's a lot there, right? So if someone signs up, what are you going to do, or how are you going to get them involved or generating content? So you have to think of that as well. My personal two things to kind of think about is people are still reading email, so you have to have an outbound email series to actually engage people and direct them to the places that you want them to go on the app. So that's one kind of key thing. The other thing is because this is a mobile app, we can actually set up direct messaging or SMS messaging directly in the app. So once it's installed, there's stuff that we can do and send to them as a registered user of the app to direct them to particular places. And I'll just give you an example of what we did as an onboarding series. Let me just open this one up. This again, we're in the spaces on my teamwork one. We'll just do Pickleball Outbound series. So we have an onboarding series, groups, volley points, serves. These are just some of the ones that we've done. And you can see that we've actually got welcome to the club and a quick tip. Meet, greet, repeat. So this one goes out immediately. This one goes out actually 8 hours later. Got a question, just serve it. So we've got quick emails that are going out that can be used as messages as well. And there's a specific tip and link in each of these. So here's an example of, we did, I think, 10 just up in this quick one to get started. So there's 10 messages right off the start. After we get them onboarded and posting about the activities, we're going to say, hey, did you want to create a group? And then we have, in this case, I think we did 5. Yeah, so 5 on how to create a group. We've gamified the application. So we have 2 kind of points, volley points and serves. Volley points are ways for the users to earn volley points by being engaged or communicating, reaching out people. Serve credits are ones that people can earn by introducing other people to the site. And we're gamifying them, inviting other people, and we're using it as credits because the credits can be cashed in for physical gear that they're going to use for pickleball, whether that be clothing, or things like paddles and shoes and balls, that kind of thing. So gamified, it's there. And if you just look quickly on those pieces, we've got 10, 15, 20, 25 emails already set up to go. So that's more than the first 30 days. And again, these can be done as emails or directly right within the app with messaging right within the app. So those are kind of things that we're thinking about once they get in. So we got know why, we've got what we want to have happen to reach out and get people. We've now got them engaged creating some content. What else do we need to do? This is the fun part. To get from the app to get to here, there's a bunch of steps that you need to do. And I'll give you just a couple of them in a snapshot, just so that you're kind of aware of the work that's involved here. Is the first thing is, as an example, other than getting BuddyBoss app plugin installed and purchased on your site, is there's a whole set of configuration that you have to do on the app. And again, it's not hard, but it's straightforward, and you have to do it in the correct sequence. I'll show you just as an example. I don't know if I want to do that because I'm not sure if some of it shows up for some of our keys and stuff. And this is live. I don't want to necessarily have it. So it's available. So I'll just go to BuddyBoss app and just to show you a couple of the things here. So we have app pages, push notifications. That's what I was talking about. In-app purchases, which in this case I don't have set up. Just to give you some context, an in-app purchase is when, if I'm going to make a purchase on my phone, if it's an in-app purchase, I go through the Apple or the Play Store mechanism for purchasing. So the gateway that's being used is Apple or Google. I'm not doing that because I'm not selling anything that relates to a membership level within the actual app. I'm going to send people out to my WooCommerce store for some of the other products and services that we offer. So I didn't turn that one on. But there's things like settings, integration, branding. There's a whole bunch of different things that we have to do. Set up the privacy, how blog posts work, smart banners, that kind of thing. So there's some steps you go through on the setting up and configuration. One of the key ones that you're going to have to do at some point too is you're going to have to become what's called a developer at the Play Store or the App Store. And I believe right now, I think it's $99 US for becoming an Apple developer per year. And I believe the Play Store is still free. I can't remember when we went through and actually did it last with this one. But the going through that process, actually I didn't have my screen capture on. So let me just do that again so you can kind of see these. Pull that up again and see if we got the right one. When do you want to do that one? I'm not sure if I want to do that one, but we'll keep it there for now. Yeah, so which is the one I want? I got a couple things in Ecamm Live here, so let me just see which one works. There we go. Let's try this one. So again, so we've got, how does it work for registration? What's the privacy for the app? Is there a login for the app? Things like how the blog posts are going to work, push notifications. So there's a whole bunch of additional kind of pieces that are here. We're going to have to go through these settings. The one that I want to, and the components was the one I was speaking about earlier, just so that you see the screen because it was hidden before. So app purchases is not active right now, but all of the things about app pages, which I'll show you in a sec, and the API for making sure it performs well as the number of people increase. These are the ones that we can activate, and you've got to go through some of the settings with these ones. So there are settings that are involved, and that's part of the process you're going to go through. You can see, for example, LearnDash for courses. There's some really neat things here with available courses offline, and also Vimeo if you're actually doing training materials or have Vimeo videos that you want to make available to people when they're offline. And what I mean by that is they don't have wireless or a connection on their mobile device, so they can still be involved doing stuff. But you're going to have to go through part of that process. So that's one sign. The second thing is you're going to have to be a developer. And the reason you have to be a developer is you have to actually send your mobile app to the Play Store or the App Store as a developer, and they have to take a look at it and say, hey, does this meet our requirements for being listed in the App Store or the Play Store? And I think, if you are doing a community app or you are doing a mobile app where you do want user-generated content, from a large number of people, you've got to make sure that it is in the Play Store or the App Store. So you're going to have to become a developer, and there's some keys in actually going through and becoming a developer. So that's probably the most complicated part of this whole process, is kind of navigating around what happens in the app stores and the Play Stores as you become a developer. And again, process that goes through. BuddyBoss makes it relatively simple. We can do it for you if you just don't want to be involved and just want it done for you. We'll certainly do it for you. But once you actually get an app built and configured the way that you want, what you end up doing is you end up creating, and you've got a developer account. What you're going to do here is get it set up the way that you want. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing what's called builds. And in this particular case, let me just show you. We're going to actually get it set up. And then when we're here, we're going to say, you know what? I want to request a build. And this is part of the BuddyBoss app program. I'm going to say I want a brand new build, and I want it for Android and iOS. And this is not a test one. I want to have it as a release build. And what happens is that BuddyBoss, through this program or app that we have for BuddyBoss theme and BuddyBoss platform, if you are a paying member or you purchase the BuddyBoss app, part of their program is to create these builds for us. So they do all the dirty work. We've signed up as a developer. What's happening is BuddyBoss is making up what's called a package that gets uploaded to the Play Store or the App Store, and that's the one that they download. So for us, we don't have to do any things like coding or figuring out stuff like that. That's done for us, which is great because we don't have to get overly technical. Obviously, and if you're doing custom work or things that are outside the purview of the mobile app for BuddyBoss and the community that comes with WordPress and LearnDash and Vimeo and the tools that we have, if you're doing something separate, you may need a developer. But if you're not doing anything over and above what's available in your WordPress site, anything in WordPress you're going to be able to have in your app, it's going to be all configured in a bundle or package is going to be available, and you're going to be able to just go and upload it to the Play Store. And once you're approved, you're all set. It's going to be available there for people just to visit, like I was showing you, and be able to download and install it. Okay, so those are kind of neat things. I will show you one other thing that we got not a lot of help is. When you go to the Play Store, you want to make sure that the way that this looks for your users looks professional. And as part of being listed on the Play Store, you have to have some graphics and a description and meet some guidelines on how you're going to be displayed in the Play Store or the App Store and who it's for. So just to give you an example, in this one, you can see that we've got some graphics here. So these graphics are specific sizes and specific formats or types of files that you're going to need for each of the particular Play Stores or places where you go. So we had these ones done up, a graphics person, and they're just taking the stuff that we have for screenshots, and they're using it as part of the display when we're actually going and having it show up in the Play Store or App Store. You know, we have to have about this. We have to have when it was updated, where it is, all the safety materials, what's new. And people can go and obviously comment or review it. But in our case here, you know, we're looking for teen and above. It's on my wish list. If I want to go and share this, I can certainly share it. And if I am on a mobile app when I'm looking at this, I click install, it'll be installed to my device. And again, if I was on the Play Store, it would be installed to my other device. One thing I'm going to show you that's kind of neat with this is that the way that they've set this up is you got this mobile device is what happens if someone is on their desktop. Well, if they're on their desktop, we can actually have it pop up. So it says, hey, did you know we have a mobile app? Or if you have a mobile app, click here to install the mobile app. So there is some communication between the two, whether they're on the desktop or the mobile app. In this case, just as an example, one of the settings that we have, and I think it's here, is, we have smart banners. And when viewing this website from a mobile browser, smart banner, it can be displayed to promote your app to members. So if someone happens to go to this site, they don't have the app installed, banner comes up and it actually says, hey, go and install the app. Instead of visiting the website on your phone, install the app. So, when you're building your desktop site, there's often times you're going, oh, how's it going to look on my phone? Well, you don't necessarily have to worry about this as much, because if someone is on their phone and they visit the site, a banner is going to come up and it says, hey, just download the app. Everything is there for you as well in the app. Okay, so developer, Play Store, some graphics, making sure you understand why you're setting it up, making sure that you have a way to do outreach, and making sure you have a way to follow up with people to get them engaged. And why are we doing this? Big key is because we want to make sure we understand where people are going to be consuming the content that you're creating, and the purpose of the content that you're creating for the people that are consuming it. So I'm really excited about this. I think there's going to be some really neat things that happen with this. For me personally, again, we put together a whole outbound outreach program that we're starting to implement now. But I need this to grow quickly in terms of users once we start actually actively promoting it. I'll tell you one little story about why I'm not quite there yet, but we'll do that in a second. But once we actively promote it, I need 1,000 users, 10,000 users, 50,000 users, and the stats are there for the community. There are plenty and plenty and plenty of pickleball players. Let me just see if I have my stats here. That I had it done up earlier. I don't know if it, there we got saved. I had some stats here. I'm just seeing if I can get them. Seeing if they can come up again. Here's there are 7 interesting charts that we can look. So the first thing that was really stunning was the growth, right? So baseline, just to give you an idea, the growth between 2020 and 2022 is 160%. 160%. So in the USA, baseline was 2014. 2021, 4.1 million players. 2022, 9 million players in the US. Yeah. So growth rate is absolutely huge. So if you look at tennis growth, same time period, tennis is 33%, pickleball 160%. Okay. Demographics of pickleball players, 2021 stats. Average age is 39. Okay. Down from 41 in 2020. So it's coming down. Core players' average age is almost 50. Casual players' age is 35. Players over 65, 33%. And the age bracket, 18 to 34, is the largest bracket now. Pickleball Association, just to give you an idea, USA Pickleball Association, 2021 had 70,000 members. So there's tons and tons of people playing. Paddle market size, 2021 is $160 million. USA global market share, 75%. Equipment marketing worth, $65 billion. Expected market size by 2033, $160 billion. Internet usage among pickleball players, social channel growth over 50%. Online workshops by Professional Pickleball Registry, 202 workshops with 2,000 participants. So there's all sorts of growth around it. The thing is, how are we going to get in front of them, and how quickly can we grow? Because this whole package is changing rapidly, and we want to make sure that we're in front of them. And we'll touch on this just before I end, because it is important, and I want to make sure that I'm clear on what's happening. I am the app is approved at the Play Store. It shows at the Play Store. The app is approved at the App Store for Apple. However, it's not showing up quite yet. And that's what I'm waiting for, because there is a large part of the population that is on Apple devices. I want to make sure it's actually available. So let me just, I'll just show you what's happening here on that one, just so that you see. There we go. Okay. So what do I want to do here? Let me do this one instead. I'm going to go to the live feed. I'm going to open up a screen here just to show you what's kind of happening, and one of the things that you can do in the App Store, the App Store Connect, where the developers go and take a look at things. So I'm just logging in here. And actually, the reason I'm doing this is because I haven't checked today, but I've got some calls into tech support at Apple. Make sure we're in the right space here. There we go. Okay, so here, let me share my screen. You can see what's going on. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but I'm going to. Okay, here we go. So I'm in my Pickleball Friends in the App Store. You can see up here on my left where the mouse is moving. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if you can. Okay, upper left-hand corner, ready for sale. But if I go down and I look at pricing and availability, it says app availability is the second one down there. It says view a summary of your app's availability status across country. And I originally had put it to all countries where I wanted it available, and nothing happened for 2 days, 3 days actually. So yesterday I switched it again, and I said, let's just have it set to US and Canada, the first two, and it says processing to available. And it's been stuck like that. So I'm just waiting for these to have it show up, because if I go and try and view it now in the App Store, it says, sorry, this is not available in your region, which obviously it should be, but this is still marked as processing to available. So if I'm actually going to be promoting this with the majority of the work that we do on promoting the app and getting people to download the app, I got to make sure that both of them are available at the same time. The last thing I want to do is start promoting it heavily and then have people go and say, oh, I'm on a iPhone or I'm on a Apple device, how come it doesn't show up, or how come it shows as broken? So I don't want to do that. So I've got calls into the App Store Connect. Hopefully they'll be able to get that addressed pretty quickly. It is approved, just needs to get in there and make sure that it shows up properly and it's available in the places I would want to have it, which is worldwide. That's the other thing, just that's been in the back of my mind too when we're playing around with this community and building out this community and training site, is that there are a number of associations and clubs, and in fact, there are some Facebook groups now that are about playing pickleball in Europe. It's not just the United States and Canada. It's a sport that's growing exponentially all over the world. And the stats I just talked about earlier are ones that are US or US Canadian only, which are huge numbers by themselves, but there's a whole bunch of growth and availability there as well. So that's kind of where we're at. When I'm looking at or I'm talking to people about, being involved in my website, in this case, I'm saying, hey, you don't necessarily need to come to my website. I don't want you to go there. I want you to download the app. I want you to download the app, and I want you to get involved in the community, uploading your videos and pictures and connecting with other people. The exact way that you may or may not do it on Facebook for just looking, or a feed on Facebook, but you're in a position now where you're going to be able to see and create groups that are pickleball specific, and also see all of the events that are pickleball specific, and also see a directory or links that are pickleball specific to all of the things involved with clubs, associations, gear, travel, workshops, everything is there. And of course, courses, where we're adding courses that people can go and learn on the fly when they're actually out playing the sport. And again, some blog and podcasts just for regular regular learning and regular things all about pickleball and what's going on. Okay, so that's kind of where we are right now. Got that one little hiccup that's holding me back from going out and doing the outreach programs. We've got the outreach programs there. We've already started, and we've got that set up actually in Active Campaign, or our Funnel Kit /Converts white label version of Active Campaign that is free to all our Training Sites members, by the way, if you're working with us. We've got it set up there for the email, the sales leads, following all of the people we're getting involved with that have customers, that have subscribers, that we're going to be partnering with to do the outreach. Everything's in place. I'm just waiting for that one little thing, and that one little thing is having it show up in the App Store right now. So that's kind of where we're at. Excited about it. What'll happen? Not really sure, but goal is get 1,000 users pretty quickly in the next month. After that, I want to get 5,000, 10,000. If I can get maybe 20,000 people by the end of this year, that would be excellent, and then have it to grow from there. I'm not going to kid you too that I'm not so, in the past building training sites, and I'm just going to mention this because it's important. In the past, if you're an expert or a coach or someone who's doing training or focusing on training, and especially myself when I started off, is I was all about like holding stuff and keeping it behind a paywall, not letting people see it. And the big thing for community building is you want everyone to see it. If you're focusing on the community portion, you want as many people, again, use the old Donald Trump axiom. You want 50% of the people can hate you, 50% of the people can love you. At the end of the day, 100% of the people are talking about you. So I want everyone to be talking about it, like it or not like it, that's fine, but I need to get out in front of people, and that's all about community building. Community, as long as the numbers are there, you're going to be in good shape. So instead of holding on and protecting courses and making paywalls, this is all open. All you have to do is register to be involved, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it open, and I have to stay in that habit of making sure that I do keep it wide open. And that's kind of, when you're thinking about building this, I have to remember too that it's not just me marketing it. I'm open to having other third parties, other vendors, other investors get involved in this project as well. Because at the end of the day, if you start building a big community and you do have something that takes off, like I'm wanting this to do, I know I can't do it myself. And I know with a small agency, there's going to be more to do that we have time and resources with. So I'm really excited about it. And I think it's something that can kind of serve as a great model for people who are building communities and wanting to get involved in this, and making sure that you have something that actually has enough people in the community. And that's that upfront part about making sure that you know who you serve and that avatar of people. So I've been sharing this stuff with you. I hope you enjoy it. I find it interesting. If you don't, that's cool too. And you just want a training site and sell courses, we can certainly help you out at trainingsites.io. Do this and help you set that up and get it working on yourself. And you can just take the courses that we have as well. If you don't want anyone to help you, you want to do it yourself, we'll just teach you exactly what we've done to build sites like this. So I'm going to bring this in for landing. I want to thank everyone for joining to me today, if they in fact did. If they didn't, that's fine too. I'm okay with it. I'm having fun with this, and I'll continue to do them. My name's James Maduke, trainingsites.io, teachonline.io. Take care. Expect the best. We'll see you again next week.